Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's World Password Day, Tony. Do you keep your passwords strong?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. I do, but you don't. I just ordered an above-ground pool through your Amazon account.
Well, why you would waste hacking me on an above-ground pool? What is this, 1968? You're going to take Super 8 movies of the kids splashing in it? What are you talking about?
Oh, 1968. That was fun. That was fun. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Celtics eliminate the Heat. Philly bigwigs try to block Knicks fans. And Kendrick Perkins joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with the Dallas Mavericks beating down the Clippers in L.A. last night, 123-93. That's an embarrassment. Luka Doncic had 35 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds, and he is supposedly ill and injured. James Harden and Paul George combined for only 22 points. They shot 6 of 25 from the field. Wilbon, was this about Doncic being great or Harden and George not delivering?
Oh, very much both. You know, one of my favorite phrases in life, since you know me forever, is more than one thing can be true. And that is the case with this, Tony. I mean, Luka Doncic was great. He played through that injury. He wasn't himself. He was short on a lot of shots because he couldn't produce the lift that he normally gets. He don't get that much. But, Tony, the Clippers, even when they had a 14-2 stretch, I said consistently, I don't trust them. Not at a championship level. It's not that each one of those 4 guys, and Kawhi didn't play again, is not a great player going to the Hall of Fame. Fine. But together in a season, in a postseason, there's too much evidence where you can't trust them. James Harden, there's this great stat out there that this was like his 13th game in his career where he shot 20% or less in a playoff game. Come on now. I mean, I'm not big on body language and energy. It's hard for me. It's hard for anybody who didn't play the game at that level to assess that. But I'm looking at the game, well, what are they doing? Russell Westbrook's the only guy who can come out here with energy, and you know he can't hit a shot from beyond 8 feet most of the time. But, Tony, yes, Luka was great, and he brought everybody else with him in this new Dallas surge. Kyrie Irving has been a 10 in the playoffs. But the Clippers, come on.
Yeah. So they have now played 5 games against each other. James Harden has had 2 really good games, and both of those games were won by the Clippers.
Yeah.
Last night wasn't really good unless you consider 7 points something that you want to strive for. Paul George had 1 really good game. Game 4, he had 33 points. He shot 11 for 19. Last night, not good. Oh, let's see.
Non-game.
Unless you consider 4 of 13 something you want to strive for. When he gave himself that nickname a few years back, Playoff P, that remains one of the cruelest jokes in sports. I sat here a number of times, Mike, and I've said to you that my feeling on the Clippers is they are an aging team and an overrated team. You can tell me, well, Kawhi Leonard didn't play in this game, but the 2 games they won, he didn't play in those either. He's just simply not reliable. What they are, Mike, is there are a lot of names that used to mean something, and they don't mean anything now, like Russell Westbrook was 2 of 11 last night. They're hollow at the core, Mike. There's nothing there at the core. I expect Dallas to win the series, and I have all along.
You know what, Tony? It wouldn't even shock me entirely to see the Clippers win Game 6 and lose Game 7. They're not reliable. And in the championship context, they're really not reliable. Let's move to the Celtics. Celtics just stomping the Heat last night without the injured Kristaps Porzingis. Derek White led Boston to the 34-point romp, eliminating Miami in 5. Tony, did this win alleviate any of the concerns you might have about the impact of Porzingis' injury?
Let me say first that both these games last night were dreadful. They were unwatchable games. They were like 30-point games. They're very bad games. No, it doesn't alleviate my concerns at all. Both you and I expected Boston to win last night. Since Boston lost Game 2 in Boston, they won 3 in a row by 20, by 14, by 34, somewhere in that range. They won 2 of them in Miami. Miami doesn't have Jimmy Butler. They're not competitive in a series against Boston without Jimmy Butler. I mean, they're really not. Let me check my notes on this because Game 2 was the outlier, Mike. In that game, Boston shot 23 of 43 from 3. That's 54%. In all the other games.
Miami did, yeah.
33, yeah, Miami did. 33 of 127 from three. That's 26%. That's less than half. My concern about Porzingis is not about Miami. It's not even about the winner of Orlando, and Cleveland. It's not. I just think that he's the biggest player they've got. When he gets on the court, he gives other players space to shoot. And if you don't have that, your options are lessened. The one thing I cannot explain, Mike, and I can't explain it, is how come Boston is 22-4 now without Porzingis?
Well, Tony, I'd have to go back and look at those 26 games and see who they were against. But let's look forward. That's a perfect launch point. Because if they play either Denver or Minnesota in the finals, these are teams with size, okay? When you got Rudy Gobert out there, maybe Defensive Player of the Year again, and Karl Anthony Towns maybe playing the best, not the most prolific, but the best of his career, meaningful games, and getting to a point where he's, showing some maturity. You need Porzingis out there. You need some size out there. And yes,
I agree.
You're right about the other thing. A jump shooting team, if they're going to shoot that many threes, he provides space. And if he's not there, he can't do it.
I agree. I agree with all of that. If they don't hit threes and they got no big people, they're done. Even though I think they're the best team in the league. We move now to the great anticipation of Game 6 in Philadelphia tonight between the Sixers and Knicks. Knicks fans showed up en masse in Philadelphia for Game 4. The Sixers ownership does not want this to happen again, so they bought up 2,000 seats, which they intend to give to first responders and healthcare professionals, among others. Once they're assured these people are Sixers fans, not imposters, Wilbon, is this fair or foul?
It's very fair. It's not just fair. There's a brilliance to it. I mean, you're trying to rally your community to do something they failed to do in the last game. And I don't know, they should just heed the encouragement of Julius the Dr. Irving, who sort of begged them on social media the other day, hey, can you show up? Can you be what you're supposed to be? So this is great. Josh Harris, who I'm getting to know as the owner of the Commanders, also owner of the Sixers and the other ownership people in that group. Yes, Tony, because they're giving it to them. Giveaways. Not saying, oh, no, you've got to prove your worth and your loyalty and you got to pay me for these. No, this is a giveaway. This is a good thing. And if the Sixer people don't respond and if the New York Knicks fans overrun that place, I'm going to trash Philly fans again tomorrow. I don't want to hear from them. I'm apologizing to my friends Stephanie Clemens and Dwayne McKnight. Philly fans, you people better show or you get trashed.
You people. You and I disagree on this. I remember a few years back this happened in hockey. Tampa Bay decided they would not sell any tickets to people that did not live in the playoffs. To people that did not live in Florida. Wait, let me go on.
Okay.
And they checked billing addresses and they checked zip codes. And they didn't want anybody in their arena that was going to root for another team. One of the other teams in that arena, by the way, was the Chicago Blackhawks. Furthermore, they said in certain seats that are on television a lot, you can't wear the opponent's jersey. You can only wear the Tampa Bay jersey. And if I remember correctly, and I'm sure I do, we both trashed it. We said it was a cheap trick by a rube city. This is no different to me.
Yes,
I'm not going to say it's a bad... Wait, let me finish. I'm not going to say it's a bad idea to give these things away to first responders. I'm not going to say that. But the principle behind this, Mike, the principle is you can't come in our gym unless you root for our team. And I think that shows a lack of confidence. I think that shows Philadelphia's nervous. I think it shows they're nervous.
I do. That's true. But, Tony, it is different. You said the word sell. That's where I stopped you. Sell. These are giveaways.
No, I understand that part.
I don't have to give you tickets. Sell. You know. You're giving me money that's not the case here.
The people they're giving them away to have to prove they're Sixers fans. Let's take a break.
Giveaway.
Coming up,
Stay home.
The NBA acknowledges missed calls that could have changed the outcome of the Sixers' win over the Knicks back in Game 5. We'll ask Kendrick Perkins about that.
We'll also ask him whether Glenn, Doc Rivers, and whoever plays for the Bucks tonight will force a Game 7 with Indy. I'm going to Dodgers-Braves Saturday. I'm going to sit in seats provided me by a certain owner.
The owner.
You think I'm going to wear Braves colors? I'm not wearing a Braves hat while I'm sitting in those.
You found.
Let's get back into the NBA playoffs with our great friend from NBA Today, Mr. Kendrick Perkins. I'm going to start with this. The NBA's last 2 minutes report indicated missed calls that could have changed the outcome of the Sixers' win over the Knicks in Game 5. If you were on the Knicks, how would you feel about this transparency in these calls?
I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. And the Tom Thibodeau coach team doesn't care. And let me say something about this 2-minute report. And I love Adam Silver to death. Just stop it. Just stop it. Don't even bring it up. Don't even put it out there, because here's the thing, right? To me, it's all about the integrity of the game. And when it comes down to sports betting, I'm looking at it as an aspect. I don't care about the people who's actually betting on the game of sports, but I do care about the fan base that is out there. You know, you have the certain trolls that are always asking, is the game rigged? And we all know that the game is not rigged. But when you put a 2-minute report out there, it could raise speculation. My thing is, let the chips fall where they may. And I'm always a big believer, and has been a strong believer of, if you're a team and you're in the postseason, don't give the officials or anybody a chance to control the game or control your destiny. Control what you can control, and that's handling your business in the first, second, and third quarter, so it don't have to come down to a missed call by the officials.
Well, Perk, that leads us perfectly into discussions specifically of tonight's Game 6. It's a Chinese food in front of the TV night for me. I'm just saying, I can't wait for this game. Knicks, Sixers, the scene has moved back to Philly. Who knows whether the Knicks fans will swarm Philly's arena or not. We'll see about that. But what are you leaning toward? What do you think we're going to see tonight?
Well, damn it, look, this has been one of the best series in the last 2 to 3 years, in my opinion, when it comes down to the physicality. You talk about the blood, sweat, and tears. I picked the Knicks in 6, and I feel like they're going to complete the mission. Since Joel Embiid had that 50-piece in Game 3, since then, he's shooting 38% from the field. We're starting to watch a fatigue version of Joel Embiid. Can Tyrese Maxey follow up again like the performance he had in Game 5? I don't believe so. I think Jalen Brunson, who is leading the league in the postseason in points, is going to continue to do big body Brunson things, and that's be the game manager and the game changer. He's going to walk into that arena, he's going to lead his team, and they're going to come out victorious. I think they saw something in Game 5, putting them be more in pick and rolls, and also I've been begging for Tibbs to make this adjustment. I think he does it tonight. Put OG Anunoby on Tyrese Maxey and let the chips fall where they may.
Perk, I was sitting next to you when you implored Tibbs to do that in the previous game. He didn't do it and he got burned. He should have listened to you. All right, that's a great main event. But the prelim is pretty damn good, too. The Bucks have to go to Indiana and keep their season alive. We don't know still about what's up with Dame and Giannis. Do you see the Bucks extending this series from where we sit now? I know we can't know everything. What do you think is going to happen in Indy?
Oh, it's a Game 7 in the making. I'm rolling with the veteran group of the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm rolling with money-making Middleton, Chris Middleton. He's been balling out of control. Bobby Portis, right? When he's engaged and he got his head in the right space, he could go back at Pascal Siakam. And then Patrick Beverley, the heart and soul of that team. He's been doing what he needs to do. And by the way, he's been on Tyrese Halliburton behind like back pockets. And I'm talking about true religions and guest genes, right? We haven't seen Tyrese Halliburton have an effect on this series, not a powerful effect, not an all-NBA effect. So when I think about this veteran group, I think this is a golden opportunity, and it will be a golden opportunity for Doc Rivers to change that 3-1 Game 7 narrative about himself. Now he got a chance to do it to someone else, and I believe he will have this team well prepared, and I believe that the Milwaukee Bucks will get Game 6.
We will get you out of here on this, Perk. Let me just add at the top, I agree with you completely about this 2-minute report. Just stop it. Just stop it. It causes much more pain than it's worth. It's idiotic. All right, let me get to the question. We're not going to chat with you again before the start of the Minnesota-Denver series on Saturday. Who are you favoring in that particular series?
I think, hey, Tony, I think me and my big brother Will Boyne on the same page with this one. Damn it, I'm on the Anthony Edwards ship. and I'm going to have to go down with it if it sank in this series. I believe in this young man so much. I believe in his leadership. I believe in his tenacity, and I believe in his want to tuck all these guys that are superstars or that's quote-unquote ahead of him, tuck them night-night and put them to bed. When I look at the Minnesota Timberwolves right now, Karl Anthony Towns, he looks 100% healthy. He's going to be a matchup problem. I feel like Rudy Gobert is going to be able to hold his own against Jokic. I'm not saying he's going to stop him, but I think he's going to do a better job of what we saw out of the Los Angeles Lakers. And then 2 pointers here. Jamal Murray is not 100% healthy, dealing with that calf strain. Caldwell Pope, he turned his ankle. And when you're talking about those dogs, Jaden McDaniels, Anthony Edwards, and Mike Conley on the perimeter, defensively, you got to be on your best. We saw that with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant. I got Minnesota winning this game, this series in 7 games, and I'm rolling with Anthony Edwards.
Ant-Man.
Thank you so much,
Tony doesn't know about
Thank
Ant-Man,
you,
Perk. Tony ain't ready for Ant-Man yet. He gonna learn.
I'm not staying up that late. That's not what I do. Thank you, Perk. Let's take one last break. Still to come. Should Mike Tyson be listed as the underdog against Jake Paul?
Oh,
really?
please.
Maybe.
Oh, stop.
Maybe.
And the Oilers dispatched the Kings last night. Should they be considered, Edmonton, the Stanley Cup faves?
Why are the Knicks and Philadelphia playing at 9 o'clock? They're East Coast
Main
teams.
event, like a
Why are they
prize
playing
fight.
at 9?
Like
No.
a big Tyson.
Happy time, people. Happy 65th birthday, Russ Grimm. This is local for us. Grimm was one of the Hogs, the nickname given to the offensive line of the Washington football team in their glory years, the 1980s and 90s. There was Grimm, Joe Jacoby, Head Hog, George Stark, Jeff Bostic, Jim Lachey, Doc Walker, Raleigh McKenzie, Mark May, Mark Schlereth, among others. Their line coach, Joe Bugle, was Boss Hog. They used to sit in a shed after practice and drink beer, and they always invited John Riggins to join them. Grimm was a 3-time Super Bowl winner. He was a 3rd-round draft pick out of Pittsburgh and played left guard for Washington for 11 seasons. Grimm was elected to the Hall of Fame in 2010, the only one of the Hogs to be there, which is a shame.
You know, Tony, Joe Jacoby should be in the Hall of Fame. I know he had some tough luck with Lawrence Taylor, who didn't. But the quarterbacks changed, the running backs changed. I know John Riggs is in the Hall of Fame, so is Art Monk. But the offensive line, with Russ Grimm being the star of the stars, they were the stars of that offense. Joe Gibbs, there's no doubt about that. People don't even understand how great they were.
Happy anniversary, Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. On this day 17 years ago, when both were near their primes, the 2 tennis greats played an exhibition match on a court that was half grass, half clay. Symbolism was obvious. Federer is an 8-time champion on grass at Wimbledon. Nadal is a 14-time champion on clay in Paris. As we watch Nadal try once again to return to form at 37, it's hard to overstate their dominance. Federer was in 31 different major finals. He won 20. Nadal was in 30 major finals. He has won 22. They played each other in major finals 9 times. Nadal won 6, Federer 3. Wilbon, you can continue to say that Djokovic is greater than both of them, and I will continue to disagree.
I know, because you hate Djokovic. It's okay. I could put on the objectivity hat at least for a few minutes, or try to. Tony, he's got the victories. He's got more, and he's on line for more. He's gonna lap those guys. You can't keep saying he's not, because he is.
I can, and I just did, and I'll say it again. Happy trails to Los Angeles Kings. It's been a bad week for Los Angeles playoff teams. The Lakers are out.
Yeah.
The Clippers are teetering. The Kings are out. Edmonton knocked the Kings out last night in Game 5 as Leon Draisaitl scored 2 goals, and the Oilers won 4-3. This is the 3rd straight year that Edmonton has beaten the Kings in the first round of the playoffs, and they're getting more efficient. Took 7 games in 2022, 6 in 2023, and 5 this year. Connor McDavid had 2 assists, leads all NHL players in scoring in these playoffs with 12 points. The Oilers will play the winner of Vancouver and Nashville in the second round.
Tony, there was so much energy in that game last night, and it's 2-2, and Draisaitl scores, you just go, whoa, and Edmonton just took off. I want to see Edmonton in the Stanley Cup final. I want to see Connor McDavid. I want to see Draisaitl. There's stars on that team. I hope they get there.
Let's go to the big finish if we could. The Wolves are planning for head coach Chris Finch to travel to Denver for Saturday's Game 1. Your thoughts?
He needs to be there. I know his leg is busted, but he's not playing. He didn't have to cross anybody over in the open corner, guard somebody. Hope he's out there. Odds makers have made Mike Tyson the underdog in his July 20 fight against Jake Paul. That's garbage, but are you surprised?
Well, Mike Tyson's 57 years old. I'm not that surprised. The Twins have won 10 straight. Are you impressed?
7 of them are against the White Sox, the worst team in the history of baseball, so not all that much. Mookie is now hitting .377 with an OPS of 1100. Is this significant at the beginning of May?
He's a great, great player, and he's at a new position, shortstop. He's great.
Yeah.
Last one, Bruins at Maple Leafs, Game 6 tonight. Who you got?
You know, the Bruins are probably going to win this game and crush hearts in Toronto again. But I'm taking the Maple Leafs to force at least a Game 7, Tony. Leafs to force Game 7.
Okay. A lot of time. We'll try and do better the next time. My friend Eddie likes Forever Young in the Derby.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the podcast on the Apple Podcast. Tony, watch Toronto-Boston. It'll be exciting. And now...
You like the Kentucky Derby, don't you? You like the
Sports Center.
All right, Wilbon. Who is facing more pressure tonight? Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid or Jalen Brunson?
Tony, one team faces more pressure tonight, and that's the team that can be eliminated. And that would be the Philadelphia 76ers. I know they're playing at home. I know they're coming off this rousing victory in Madison Square Garden in Game 5. Truly amazing game, but it doesn't mean anything tonight. We just saw the Knicks win, in Philadelphia, win Game 4 there and turn it into Madison Square Garden South. We've seen that. And we know that Jalen Brunson can respond and have a great game because he's done that already in this series. So it's Maxey and Embiid, Tony. And look, I know that Embiid had a triple-double in the previous game, but they're going to need him to have a big presence, a bigger presence, a more efficient presence. He's not going to be able to shoot 38% and get Philadelphia probably through this. So to force a Game 7, he and Maxey are going to have to come through again. I can't wait to see this. I have no idea what's going to happen. I just can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to try not to isolate it to the players and just make it teams. I think it's important to note that the last time they played in Philadelphia, Jalen Brunson had 47 points, and the Knicks won that game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in their recent memory. We can go there and win. I do think all the pressure is on Philadelphia. I think it even comes from ownership, that they're so afraid that Knicks fans will come in there that they bought up 2,000 tickets. I think everything indicates not just a lack of confidence, just a feeling of fright that the Knicks can come in there and win this game. So I wouldn't want to just pin it on Embiid and Maxey. And I don't know who's going to win. I wish it was on a little earlier than after 9 p.m. to start. But I agree with you that all the pressure is on Philadelphia, not New York.
But it sounds like you, like Stephen A., you too, you New Yorkers, sounds like you Knicks fans for life. You're leaning toward the Knickerbockers, if I'm hearing correctly.
Yeah, sure, I am. Yes, I'm leaning towards the Knicks, yes.
Just checking. Hope you adjust that bedtime. That's it. We're done. Back to you.